What's up, guys? So today we're looking at the Hawkeye 4K thumb camera. This is what it comes in, this box, just like this. There's no special pretty anything, it's just a box. Now I've seen a lot of reviews on this, and I'm sure you probably have also, and I already have my own thoughts about this camera, even though I haven't used it yet. But join me as I open this for the first time. All that was holding it was this tape that I cut, and here we go. Manual right there, how it works. Here are all the wires to wire up the stuff and the board to control it. Oh my goodness, this is a lot of wires. I don't want to make this long, I just want to kind of get straight to the point. And here is the point actually. This is the thumb 4K. This is Hawkeye's comeback to the Runcam thumb. So guys, the idea I have is that I want this camera to be the only camera on my drone. I'm going to be using the video out from this and seeing if I can fly with it, because now since I've been flying with HD for such a long time, and now I've gotten used to that latency, I wonder how the latency in this feels. So I gotta go and build myself an analog drone to stick this to. So let's see if I can get that done. And voila, with the magic of editing, here is my build. This is a very simply put together little drone here, and this is what's very attractive to me about this build, is that it's so simple. Look at this, there's no FPV camera, everything is just the Hawkeye thumb, which just sits on top here. It's this mount I got somewhere on the internet. I wish I could say who created this, but I actually just 3D printed this one. I made a little bit thicker because I thought this one might be a little bit wobbly, but after testing it, it seems to work quite fine. Second thing is that with this plug, I thought I could just take out my Cadex Rattle 2 here, baby Rattle 2, and just take that plug out. And since the pin out on the back of this camera, it has 4 pins in there, but you can use the first 3, which is 5-volt, ground, and video. But for this camera, for the one that I had, the wiring was reversed. So the ground was in the middle, but the video was on this side, and the 5-volt was on that side. So I just had to pull those pins out and swap them around. So be careful when you're plugging that in if you have one of these cameras. I know that there's a camera out there, I don't know if it's the Runcam, that also had these wires swapped, and it might just be a direct plug. But if that's not the case, I wish I could just, you know, just like plug in my regular cables into this. So the only thing that I didn't attach is the TRG, which means trigger, which means that you can set up your flight controller to stop recording. I've done that before on other cameras. It's a very useful feature actually. So this flight controller in here is an all-in-one. It's got the VTX in there, it's got ELRS built in there, so it's just one board and the camera. And I just absolutely love the fact that this is so simple. I've been flying a lot of walk snails, my go-to system, but somehow analog, the simplicity of it, I think it's gonna be around for a while. Anyway guys, let's get flying and see what this guy can do. So guys, first of all, notice that this is a widescreen format. I did this in Gyroflow, where I kind of like to stretch it a bit so that you see more of the edges. It kind of gives you more of a wide field of view that looks more cinematic. This is not default by any chance, but just showing you how it can look here. I'm going to show you what the raw file looks like in a second. But guys, take a look at this. This looks absolutely amazing. I think so anyway. I know some people, you get used to seeing these overly sharpened cameras, like a lot of the Walksnail, the VTX, they record with this very sharp edges and it looks very unnatural. To me, this image looks so pleasing. It's just so pleasing to the eye. The colors are nice, it's warm. It kind of reminds me very much of what the Insta360 Go looks like, the warmness of it. And I kind of like that. So I believe that we've gotten so used to these cameras that try to give us the best image quality off the camera, but this one seems to give me at least a little bit more to work with in terms of editing. So I think I can get a better image out of this camera than I could out of like a Runcam thumb that gives you all the contrast. Even though these cameras also seem to have a mode that you can put it in a flat color profile. This one has it too, I haven't tried it yet. But guys, I absolutely am amazed. This drone is not tuned at all. It's just, I don't even know what kind of tune I have on it. It's not default, but I know the motors are different. So yeah, it's a little bit wobbly, but Gyroflow has completely stabilized this. Of course, there are some vibrations in there still. But I also must talk about the fact that this is recording in 50 frames per second. There is no 60 on this camera, which is quite annoying because 60 is what we mostly use. And yeah, when you have 50 frames here, it's actually pulling down the frames, so you get a little bit of a stutter. Also, when you're looking in the FPV view, it's a little bit stuttery, and that's because by default it's set to NTSC, which is the output at 60 frames, but the camera is actually recording at 50. So there is a discrepancy there, and you get this kind of a stuttery feeling, which is what people interpret as latency, and it's not actual latency. I feel latency on this, but it's not terrible. It's not terrible at all. It's just it feels maybe just a little bit more than what I feel with the wax nail system. So yeah, take that as you will. It's actually really flyable, but the actual image quality in your DVR doesn't look very great at all. I think it's not the best. It's flyable, but it's just not the best. It looks like it's overlapping some of the lines or something. It just looks a little bit very hazy. Guys, another feature of this is a night. Look at this. This looks amazing for a nighttime camera. There's no other camera that the Insta360 Go that doesn't record well at night at all. Runcam Thumb doesn't record well. This is really, really good for, you know, recording at night. And I think that's a great standout feature with this camera. Here I'm going to pair it with the Avatar Pro camera right about here. There we go. And there's obviously a difference. Avatar does beat it, but still, look at that. It's doing really, really good. So guys, my early final thoughts are that I really do like this camera. I don't think it's necessarily better. I actually agree with most people that look at the footage to say that the Runcam Thumb Pro actually has better footage in the daytime. It looks better, but I do believe that this can be edited to look just as good. It just requires a little bit more processing. I do like the fact that you can use it as an FPV camera. The video out is a nice touch, even though it's not implemented 100% correctly. I do like the fact that you do, I didn't use an ND filter on any of this footage, so that's why there was a lot of shaking. I know that it would smooth it out a lot more. There is an ND filter available for this. I didn't get it. I don't know why they don't sell it to you in the package when it comes. I do like the simplicity of this build. It flies for 8 minutes, and this is what I love because it's just very simple 1S drone. And the reason why I like these now is because of, with all the regulations going around, it's nice to have something light that you can just throw around and it doesn't bother anybody. This is not a ripper. It got really low kV motors. I think this is like 1102 6000 kV or something. It's really low, but it's enough to keep it stable and do a few tricks, but it's not a ripper. But this is mainly for just doing cinematic shots. I like the night vision. I really like the fact I can see at night. This is something that a lot of other cameras don't do very well. And yeah, now why would I have this? Because, you know, I fly Avatar. One of the major things with Avatar was having the onboard recording, which is what switched me from HD0. But that has kind of still left me wanting a little bit more. I don't know if they will improve their recording in future firmwares, but for now, I like the recording on this camera. And you could actually put this camera on a build that has HD, but for me, using like, if you're doing like a 1S build, like this is, it's going to draw a lot of power from your battery. It's not so much the weight, it's more the amps that the HD system draws and also the amps that this camera draws. It's going to be a lot. This camera doesn't seem to draw a lot of amps actually. It's pretty neat. But I imagine a future, guys, where there'll be a camera like this that has HD out. Suppose HD0 came up with a camera like this that you just plug into their VTX. You have the recording here and then the VTX just broadcast that. Wouldn't that be great? I see these things coming in the future, and I think that I'm getting closer and closer to having my perfect build be one of those. But for now, this is what we have. I really hope that they come up with a version 2 that fixes the 60 frames per second, but I like this. I really think this is a step in a good direction. I don't see any vendors in the US now selling this. I had to buy this from China. I think Banggood or somewhere I bought this from. So I don't know when it's going to be available this side, but yeah, for now, just want to put the word out there that this guy is pretty good. And yeah, if you see it around, you should probably give it a shot. And if not, then hey, at least I hopefully gave you some knowledge that you didn't have before. So anyway, guys, happy flying and thanks for watching.